really wanted to start by reinforcing that the CSA is the only patient-led charitable organization focused solely on Canadians living with spondyloarthritis. And we're really working hard to provide credible, valuable, and relevant resources for our growing community. We all know that spondyloarthritis is a very complex and challenging condition, and it's really important that we all work collectively to make it a greater priority within the healthcare system and within communities across the country. Last fall, the directors of the board convened to really assess our strategic direction, and outcomes of that meeting determined that we would focus on 4 strategic pillars, and that's what you see here on the screen. Those 4 pillars are disease awareness, which is really about reducing the time to diagnosis and the unacceptable delay to diagnosis, and working with healthcare professionals to do that. The second pillar is about patient education and support, which is really centered around the patient experience and empowerment for positive disease management. The third is advocacy, which is focused on informing policy advancements for patient well-being and being the lead for the patient voice on new treatment options. And then finally, the 4th pillar here is about capacity building. So to make sure that we have the infrastructure and set strategies so that we can further the organization so that we can support more people. So we're going to look at some of the stats and outcomes that we achieved for the fiscal year ending March 31st, 2023. And so here you're going to see a pretty big number, 1.2 million. And so under the pillar awareness and reducing time to diagnosis, we launched some really important national campaigns, and the combination of those campaigns saw a reach of 1.2 million Canadians. So we did an AXPA social media campaign, we did a general spondyloarthritis awareness campaign, and we were engaged in several national awareness initiatives, so World AS Day, PSA Day, ENA Day, etc. And I hope that you join us in celebrating these results. They far outperform the industry averages across the board. And even our good friends at TikTok and Instagram are blown away with the outcomes that we're achieving. So more and more people are familiar with the disease. Here's another snapshot of some of those outcomes. So this is one of the campaigns where we featured our very own Dr. Karam. Thank you so much, Dr. Karam, on putting your face to this campaign. But this is just one campaign, and it was specifically raising awareness on AXPA, so AS. And so we can see some pretty significant numbers here and pretty significant engagement. We also engaged in a global movement. So we know that when we're sharing content digitally and online, that there are no geographical borders. So we align ourselves with an organization called ASIF. And this is the International Federation for Axial Spondyloarthritis. We're joined by 50 other countries, and we are working hard to drive awareness of AXPA in particular, so people are more familiar with how to recognize it as a possible condition when they're assessing themselves, and then helping to inform them to have conversations with their healthcare professionals. Also, under awareness and reducing time to diagnosis, on October 19th, so that was Psoriatic Arthritis Day, so National PSA Day. This was the 4th year that we acknowledged this special day. And in addition to having several landmarks illuminated, we established an awareness campaign reaching tens of thousands of Canadians. Why this is important is because, and part of our target audience were people living with psoriasis. 30% of individuals living with psoriasis are at risk of having psoriatic arthritis. So that was our key audience with this campaign. We also engaged on November 19th with National Enteropathic Arthritis Day, ENA Day, and this was our 3rd year participating in this day, and we struck this day nationally as an organization at the CSA, was able to solidify this as a national day. So we also had several landmarks illuminated, but it was really an opportunity to feature the resources that we have for people living with ENA. We know that there are many forms of spondyloarthritis, and this is one of the many. So really driving awareness of the disease nationally, all with the goal to have more people better informed about ENA. Moving on to our next pillar, patient education and support. We've got a pretty big number here as well. Over 80,000 Canadians were reached, and this was via the combination of community membership growth. We saw an increase of 33% in community members, which we're thrilled about, and access to our digital resources and asset downloads. We track and measure everything that we do. We have metrics and reports and analytics so that we know what people are responding to. We also do surveys to ask what Canadians need. And so this is just a snapshot of some of that data, and we make data-informed decisions based on how people are engaging with the content that we are providing. Also under patient education and support, I just wanted to highlight that we continue with our very successful webinar series and in-person forums. We work very closely with some really incredible individuals. One of the commitments that we made this year and we were able to successfully implement is that every single one of our webinars is now available in both French and English. Our patient forum, so this is our first inpatient forum post-COVID, and we decided to make it not only in person, but we piloted a hybrid format. And so we had hundreds of individuals from across the country participate in this. We didn't want geography to be a barrier or mobility to be a barrier. I see that Erica, your hand is up. Did you want me to pause at all?
You were paused for a minute, but now you're back.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks. And so this forum was a pilot, as I mentioned. It was a hybrid pilot, and in addition to that, it was also offered live in both French and English simultaneously. So it was a great success, and we had some remarkable experts leading the Q&A and the presentations. We're planning for our next one in November. So we're going to be announcing that in the next few weeks. Another new development from our fiscal year was the development of a new tool. It's a discussion guide for AxSpa. We've since expanded this discussion guide, and we have one now for those living with psoriatic arthritis, and we will continue to expand on these. But it's really an empowerment campaign whereby people can use this tool to have really relevant and meaningful discussions with their rheumatologists. This discussion guide in particular saw almost 2,000 Canadian downloads in the first 8 weeks that it was made available. And so we're really thrilled about the number of people that use this as a resource. And as part of the empowerment is giving a voice to individuals. This is an example of online dialogue where we saw significant engagement with some of the creatives and the educational content. And what you can see here is that sleep creative drove the highest volume of conversions. And what that means, what that tells us is that sleep is a very important topic for our community members. And so we want to take that and create more resources around sleep in particular. We also saw creatives on work, pain, and relationships have the highest click-through conversion rates. So we also know that these are really important topics to Canadians that we will continue to expand on. I wanted to mention our support groups, and these support groups are life-changing for many people. They are run by volunteers nationally who live with spondyloarthritis. And I just wanted to thank any of those who are joining us here today who are a volunteer, whether with the support groups or otherwise, because volunteers are really the lifeblood of our organization as a charity. But the support groups continue to be a strong program, and we are actually in the process of assessing the support group program to see if there are other formats that we should consider, whether it's virtual or chats. And the idea is that as we explore and research opportunities, that these could potentially be a part of an app in the near future. Moving on to the third pillar here, advocacy. We have been working hard at ensuring that there is equitable access to new treatment options for all Canadians. We have been busy. This is a small snapshot. We know that up to approximately 50% of individuals living with the disease build resistance to their treatments within 5 years. So this will continue to be a major focus for us, and involving individuals to help us have that patient voice wherever there is an opportunity is critical. Wanted to also say thank you to our supporters, but also for transparency purposes. We have many sources of funding, from general public to fundraising events, as well as we have partners listed here who support the good work and that we do, and wanted to take this opportunity to thank some of these partners for their dedication to helping Canadians. So we also are looking to the future. So that wraps up our fiscal year. We wanted to take some time here to talk about the future. And I just want to pause here for a moment. I'm not sure, Ellie, did you want me to continue as we go? Okay, thank you. Please feel free to step in anytime you feel. We are working really hard on some very important strategies right now, and we're looking to launch a national PSA campaign. We have launched our healthcare provider portal, and we're looking to expand that so clinics across the country and rheumatologists have access to resources for patients. And we're also aiming to host a national back summit in collaboration with the Canadian Spine Society. So that's coming up in the near future. We're also aligning with key researchers and one of the top health economists in the country to dig into the burden of illness research, as well as the epidemiology research, which is disease prevalence. And we want to take this data and leverage it so policymakers and the general public and employers, et cetera, really see the impact of this disease. Future facing, we're also updating our PSA and our XPOD guidebooks. We have all of the input and feedback received from some of Canada's top experts, and these will be hot off the press in probably the next few weeks. We've also recently launched, just 2 weeks ago, our first ever pain management and wellness journal. We have launched 4 of these. The one for axSpA, one for psoriatic arthritis, one for all other forms of spondyloarthritis. And these are available free for digital download, but they are also available for purchase in print on Amazon, with 100% of the proceeds going to our charity. The 4th version of the pain management and wellness booklet is actually acting as a social enterprise for us. We've taken the template that was created by pain management experts along with the CSA, and this will be available for anyone who is living with chronic pain, whether that be not necessarily related to spondyloarthritis. The journal is very relevant, and I hope you each take some time to go look up Canadian Spondyloarthritis Association on Amazon to look at the booklet, but it's very thorough. We wanted to give others an opportunity who are living with chronic pain to take advantage of this tool, all while raising funds for the CSA. Just going into the last 3 slides here, and we call this slide Game Changers. Without the gracious commitment of Canadians from coast to coast who are really, donating their energy and their time, we're seeing some really big momentum. Michael Santillo has hosted the Let's Get Loud Gala in Montreal. We just wrapped up the 2nd year, and over the last 2 years, he has raised $120,000 for the CSA. We're so grateful for that. We also have Matthew Andrade, thanks, and he just finished a bike ride in honor of his wife, Monica, who's living with spondyloarthritis. You'll see a picture of Monica and their 2 sons here. And he raised over $50,000 and counting as of today. So thank you so much, Matthew. Also wanted to note 2 other incredible game changers. We have Charlie, who lives in Quebec, and she lives with spondyloarthritis as well, and she embarked on a 2,200 kilometer bike ride to raise awareness. And this bike ride was also aligned with a documentary on the disease, which will be released in 2025. So we're really grateful for her sharing her own personal journey, but also for this camera crew who have said, listen, we need to really make sure more and more people are aware of that. So once that is ready, we will definitely share that link with everybody. And we will also be promoting it nationally. Also wanted to feature Tyler. He has launched an event, an energy around Electrify AS, and he is just an incredible awareness advocate and cycling enthusiast. And his goal may not happen this year because of the weather and the timing. His goal is to bike across the country to raise awareness and to raise funds. So we have and this is just a small snapshot of individuals who are really making a difference. So that's why we call them game changers. And it's so inspiring. And this is our final slide here. And, as a charity, we're always looking for engagement from individuals who want to, volunteer, a few hours to help us with suggestions for new resources and tools, to those who would like to be engaged in fundraising, to those who would like to offer support to others. So there are plenty of opportunities to be engaged and involved, and really want to continue to inspire the community to keep dialoguing about spondyloarthritis. This is a collective movement for all of us to really raise that awareness of the disease and give it the spotlight that it deserves. And that concludes our report back to community.